Hi, and welcome to LearnUp Centers. My name is Steve Hagler. I'm the Executive Director of LearnUp Centers. I'm here with Steve Tattum, Reading Director and founder of Tattum Reading. And we're here also with Emiko. LearnUp Centers is on a mission to change how we teach all levels and types of learners to read. What makes us different is that we are a program that's made up of the best parts of the best programs on the market. It's blended together in a superior scope and sequence. It's based in the science of reading. We have three main components. We have reading and comprehension, which we offer in one-on-one tutoring settings. We have professional development with training online and hopefully again, eventually in person. And we offer weekly office hours and open sessions so you can talk to Steve directly. We also are working with programs in after-school settings, such as the Boys and Girls Club in San Francisco, and we're a Tier 3 intervention program for the San Francisco Unified. We're bringing out a new homeschool program in January. So if you're interested in that, let us know. We'll be sending out links to get on a wait list. But this program is designed for folks who are working at home with their kids or who want to try and teach their child to read on their own. And with that, Steve, I'm going to turn it over to you with one more little pitch here. Thanks to very generous donors at LearnUp Centers, we're able to present these webinars and a lot of our trainings for either free or reduced prices. If that's something that you would like to be a part of, please pay it forward with a donation to our scholarship fund, which I'll put in the chat and also be in the links in the follow-up emails. So please join us in this effort to bring reading to everybody in the world. And Steve, I'll turn it over to you.
Emiko, who I'll be working with, I saw yesterday for the first time. This is very much like we do in the clinic. She had an unusual but really promising testing, but it was a little different. On my reading survey, we have what's called a start 1 who knows nothing. We have a start 2 who's at a 1-syllable stage, a start 3 who's at a 2-syllable stage, a start 4 that just needs fluency and a little more of the upper level of phonics, and then 5 who needs comprehension and fluency. Well, Emiko actually did pretty well in my survey and was almost looked at the start 3 or 2-syllable stage. And when given the Tower test, her phonics were in the 2nd grade, beginning 2nd grade level on word attack. Her sight word was mid 2nd grade. So I rarely see that in a child who's at this level coming in. They're usually not scoring, they're usually below first. So her sight word indicates she may have her word form area firing back here, which very few of my kids do. And I'm pretty sure that's firing for her. Now here's what was interesting. Her 3-minute reading survey, which is at the 3rd grade level, she got 55 words a minute with 1 error. She was 10 out of 16 on her fluency and occasionally read 2 words together. She recalled 10 facts from it, which is at a high level, about 80% level, and got the main idea. So I thought, wow, she's going to be up into my 2-syllable stage reading, etc. However, when I gave her the ACE reading test, which is more technical stuff and non-predictable words, she got 31 words a minute, 50% on comprehension, and 18 errors. What that tells me is the 3-minute survey was working more with regular words that kids are used to, the more common sight words, which she knows, as shown by her 2.4 score on sight word. But when we got to something that required pure word attack in reading, there was big problems. So I was going to do what's called the VALTAG or VCCV today, because that's what it looked like, or what I heard she was like. But actually, after I put her in my Start 2 book, Enchanted Rock, she was at 30 words per minute with 2 errors. And the 2-syllable book, she was at 22 words and 2 errors. So I've decided that I'm going to go straight through the program at Enchanted Rock. However, Emiko has several things going for her. She's very smart. Would you agree with that, Emiko? She's very smart. She also has sight word ability, which almost none of my kids have. So that means we are going to go quick with her. But we still need to go back to what this is a picture of. I've seen a couple other kids like this, is somebody who's been through a good phonics program, because I checked her sounds and she knows sounds up through diphthongs, but they don't do the reading, enough reading with it so they can't apply it when they read. I see this on occasion. So they got the phonics, they've been through a phonics program, but the phonics program does not, like ours, have 20 to 30 minutes of reading daily. And so we have to go back and get her to use a lot of that. So we're going to be at a start to plan. You're going to see me start with the sounds. I'm going to clean up sounds and then say them and point to them. I'm then going to teach a new concept, and then I'm going to give her nonsense syllable work. And then we're going to apply it in spelling and in reading. That's what the lesson will look like. Okay. Emiko, are you ready to go? Okay.
I think so.
I think you are too. Now, Emiko, we're going to start with phonemic awareness. Now, you want to move your screen down so we want to see more of you. And you might want to move back a bit or move the screen back. There we go. All right. I introduced her to phonemic awareness yesterday to see where she is. He doesn't need blending, he needs a little segmentation, and then we'll go to advanced phonemic awareness. So I just do a minute of this before the plan. Okay, Emiko, can you move back a bit more or lower the camera? Because that looks good right there. All right, hold up your fingers like we did yesterday. Okay. All right, remember, hot. Say the word.
Hot.
All right, tap it out.
Hot.
Good for you. Sat. Say the word.
Sat.
Good.
At.
Good. Log.
Log.
Huh?
Log.
Good. Last.
Last.
Uh-huh.
Last.
Okay, you have last. I want last.
Oh. Last.
Good for you. Path.
Path.
Path. Path.
At.
Good. Skip.
It.
Grass.
At. Oh. At.
Good. Okay. Now, she has a different way of doing the manipulating of sounds. We kind of do it from the fingers, and we're going to try that. Okay, you got hot. Change the h to a p.
Hot.
And what's the word?
Hot.
Good. All right, I want you to take sat and change the t to a x.
At.
One more time.
I said at.
Well, you even made it harder. You changed the s to x. Take the word sat and change the t to x. So you're changing that t to x. Okay, let me give you another one. Take the word log and change the o to a t. Good. Now, we don't need to use your fingers now for this, for the changing. So let me give you an example. Sat, I'm going to change this to p, and you'd say pat. You have pat, we're going to get rid of the t, and you'd say pat. We have pat, we're going to change the a to an it, and you'd say pit. You want to try a couple of those? Okay, we haven't done this yet. Okay, so you've got log, we're going to change the g to a b.
Log.
Okay, so you got log, change that g to a b. Lob. Okay, now that's enough auditory. Auditory for our kids is rough to do a lot of. So that's why we only do a minute. You did great. And our next time we're going to work on this advanced. This advanced stuff, you don't really even start to third grade, okay? All righty, now let's check your sounds. I'm going to be using the Wizimo board, which I've made look like my board. Okay, all right, so let's check your consonants. Go ahead and give me these sounds. Both of those say right?
G, J, K, O, N, N,
Yeah, both of those say n.
R,
Okay, want to pucker your mouth a little bit for that and say rrr. Can you say that?
R,
Rrr, like red rrr.
R,
Rrr, good. And that also says rrr.
S, T, R,
Just plain whoop.
W,
There you go.
X, Y, Z.
Okay, good sounds. Now we're going to clean up the consonants. With a start to, I usually found that most of the kids know their consonants and teams and vowels. They just need to be cleared up. What's this say?
Ch, sh,
And it has a noisy one, like, th. Can you say that?
Z,
Like that. So, th.
Qua,
Mhm.
N,
Yeah.
N,
You have some of the best sounds I've heard. All right, let's try the vowels.
E, F, N, O,
Deep in your chest. Aw.
O, U,
It also says, oh.
L, Oi, R, 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 or,
Now, since she knows these sounds, I'm going to give her credit for them, day one. So that means each day we'll review this. I want to keep those fresh. Okay, we're going to start our plan. I'm going to say the sound. I'm going to give you control of the board. I'm going to try to. So Emiko, if you click on the board with this marker, you can take control of that arrow. Can you try that? Click on the board. And then move the arrow.
I don't think, wait, oh no, I think, no, I can do that. Yeah, I can do that.
There you go. Okay, so I'm just going to do a few sounds you had trouble with, and you're going to echo and point. So I would like to see the sound D.
Yeah?
D.
This one.
Good. Now say the sound.
Yeah.
All right. There you go. What is that? Yeah. O. Say the sound for O.
Oh.
Okay. So each time you want to say the sound. Now here's a tough one. Rrr,
Er.
rrr.
Er.
There you go. There's two of them. It's in the second row. There you go. What's that say?
Er.
Rrr. And the other one
Er.
is rrr. Okay. All right. Now watch my mouth. Let me go on this. This is the hardest sound for everybody. Okay. What you got to do is pucker your lips. Okay. Watch my lips. So rather than going like you're smiling, you go like this and go rrr. Can you try that?
Er.
All right. You're pucker a little more. You know what I mean by pucker?
No.
It means put your lips close together like this. Rrr. Try that. There we go. That's good enough. All right. Show me. Shh. There you go. What's the sound?
Shh.
Okay. It's in this bottom row there. There you go. Okay. Ready? Or. Can you say that?
Or.
Okay. R. Try the or.
Oh.
There you go.
Oh.
What's that say?
R.
Okay. Your short vowels are great. Show me eh. Okay. Can you say that sound?
Eh.
Okay. What's that?
Oh.
Ah. Ah.
Ah.
Okay. You have ah. I want ah. Okay. Right next to it. Okay.
What? I don't know what happened to the arrow thing.
Okay. We're going to reboot this to help you get that ah sound. Why don't you go back to it?
Okay.
We're going to go right in order. With me. Ready? It. Can you say that? Eh.
Eh.
Next.
Eh.
Point to ah. There you go.
Ah. Oh.
Okay. All right. I'm going to take control. I'm going to click the board. Take your hands off for a minute. All right. I'm going to point, say the sound. What's that?
Go. Oh. Yeah.
Say red.
Red.
Rrr.
Er.
Okay. Rrr. We'll get that.
Mm. Eh. Eh. Ah. Oi. Ow. Ooh.
And like book.
Okay.
What's this say?
R.
So we checked the sounds. We did spell and read sounds or say and point to sounds. Do you know what this suffix is here?
Ed.
Ed. It also can say didn't. Now, do you know what that means when you add it to a word?
It's like at the end it's not at the end it has a D sound.
Yeah, Ed didn't. But what's it do to the word? It makes it not present tense, but what tense?
Past tense.
Past tense. Yeah, it makes it already happen. All right. And do you know what this says?
Ing.
And what's ing mean?
Like it's happening.
Yeah, you're doing something. Good for you. All right, now I'm going to show you a new concept. We cleaned up concept 1 and 2. We're going to get you ready for these endings, which are problematic. This is called the hungry rule. And I want you to notice that at the end of words, these are spelled with big pieces, can be spelled with big pieces. What sounds this? And this?
Oh.
And that? And that? And this? It's the same sound as that. And this. It's the same sound as this.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now, so notice that there are bigger pieces at the end of the word because normally f is just one F and O is one L and k is just a K and ch just doesn't have that T and j is often just a G or a GE. Okay. So these are big pieces that you're going to run into. And you had a little trouble with spelling of these, so I'm going to help you with that. Okay. Now, here's the deal. Pretend these are desserts. What's your favorite dessert?
Donut.
Donuts. Now, what kind of donut?
Blaze.
Glazed?
Mm-hmm.
Glazed donut. Okay.
That's
I
my
like
favorite.
chocolate fudge caramel donuts with whipped cream inside is what I like. Mine's are, of course, non-fattening. All right. So you like picture. Now, if you're hungry, would you take a little tiny, small donut or a big one?
Oh, well, a huge one.
A huge donut. Yeah.
The
Johnny
biggest one in the whole wide world.
Yeah. Well, I'm right next to Johnny Donuts and they have these huge donuts. So if you're hungry, you're going to have it. Now, if you have a vowel by itself, batch, you have a vowel by itself, and it has a choice between a big piece and a small point, small. When this vowel is closed in the words batch, it's hungry and wants which piece? If you're hungry, would you want the big donut or the small?
Big.
So it's going to take the big piece, batch, when it's by itself, okay? Now, if the word's back, it could take a small piece or a big piece, but it's hungry, so which one's it going to take?
Big.
Big, right. And the same with j, it could take a small piece, which is GE, or could take a bigger piece, but it would take which one if it's hungry?
Big.
Big, okay. So when you got a vowel by itself and it's short, it wants a bigger piece. Another way to look at it is a short vowel wants a long spelling. That's another way to look at it, okay? Now, if you have a friend, would you take, like if this word was ranch, would you take a big piece and eat in front of them, or would you share? Would you eat the whole donut or would you share if you had a big donut? Your best friends over. Would you eat the big donut in front of her or would you share?
I guess share.
Yeah, you probably share.
I want to eat it all.
Yeah. Well, you know, then you might not invite her and just be by yourself, in which case you could have the full piece, ratch. But if you invite a friend over, you would share and you'd take a piece and you'd give your friend a piece. So you'd take the smaller piece, okay?
But if they're not there, I eat it all.
Yeah, if they're not there, okay, so let's go the words rack. They're not there, you'd take the bigger piece. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
But if they had a friend and the words rank, you would share with them, share the C with them, and you would take a smaller piece, okay? Okay, so the hungry rule is just basically simply this. If you have a short vowel by itself, it's going to want a bigger piece. But if they have a friend, like an L, would you eat the big piece in front of your friend?
No.
No. So you'd share and you'd take a smaller. Okay, let's apply it. Now I'm going to introduce you to something called step tracking. This is pretty complicated. So let me. Okay, so we're going to do, I'm going to give you some nonsense words. The first one's fess, and we're going to go f, and then we're going to say the next sound of eh, and then we're going to go s. Now s could either be one S or a bigger piece. Which do you think we're going to use for fess?
The big one.
Yeah, because it's hungry. Okay. Now I'm going to help you with the next, and then I'll have you try it. All right, we have fess. Now we're going to make it fetch. Can you say the word?
Fetch.
All right, let's say the sounds with me. What's this say? Big piece or small piece?
Big.
Big piece. Fetch. Okay. We're now going to make the word feck. What's the word?
Feck.
All right, let's say the sounds. Big piece or small piece?
Big.
Big, because it's hungry. Feck. Okay. Now we're going to make the word check. What are we going to make?
Check.
So we're going to change this to a what?
CH.
Yeah, so we just say ch, get rid of that, but we finish the word ch, eh. So I'm going to go ahead and grab ch, check. All right, next word is chick. Can you say it?
Chick.
And what's the sound with me?
It.
Start here. Ch,
It.
ick, ch, ick. What am I going to put in there? Am I going to put this in or this?
I.
Yeah, the I, chick. Okay. Now we're going to make it thick. Can you say that?
Thick.
Okay. What sound is this going to be? So if it's thick, what sound will this be? This one right here. Yeah. So we're going to get rid of that. Now let's finish the word with me.
Eh.
Okay, and we'll get thick. Good. All right. So those who are watching, the first day with step tracking, I go ahead and do all the steps, model it. Then the second day I do it for about half, and then I start getting her to take over, because this is one of the most important techniques we've got. All right, now I'm going to move out sounds and you read the word. What's that word?
Thick.
Thick, good. Now what is it?
Fetch.
Good for you. Now this is a j. What would this be?
Fetch.
Good. What would this be?
Check. Check.
Pardon me?
Chug.
You had cheg. Is that what you see?
Yes.
Okay. It would say this has a j sound.
Oh, ja.
Yeah. So what would it be?
Chug.
Chedj.
Judge.
Yeah.
Chug.
That's hard to say. All right. Now what it would be? I'm going to do this one. Chidj. Now your turn. What would that be?
Judge.
I think you got that down. Now what would this be?
Chus. Wait.
That's
Yeah.
right. Perfect. Now what would it be?
Chuffing.
Yeah, it's the act of chuff. You know what chuff is, don't you?
No.
It's a type of throwing a frisbee upside down in the country of Romania. They have competitions called chuffing. Do you ever hear of that?
No.
You think that's true?
I don't know because I never heard of it.
No, I just made that up. Okay. All right. So
What?
what is this word?
Puff.
Ah, good. Now what is it?
Fifth.
Yeah. Okay. Now, all right, good. This board did something strange. It changed these to words. This has happened once before. So when that happens, you got to close out and redo it. I have no idea why it does that. It does this on occasion, but fortunately, we're done with that component of the board. Okay, we're going to spell. And do you want to type or try and write?
I think I can type.
Okay. All right. I'm going to take over control.
Type.
Okay. All right. Now, I'm having a little trouble giving you control of this. Let's try this. All right. Clear. All right. Another thing, do you happen to have Microsoft Word or Pages? Do you use anything for word processing?
Google Docs.
Google Docs. Okay, can you go to that?
Sure.
Go to that, and then we'll give you control of the screen and we'll use Google Docs. That's what we would do after a couple days with this. This is actually misfiring on me. So you go to Google Docs and take control, okay?
I'm on an iPad, so it may not work.
Oh, that's the problem.
We can try though, but I'm on an iPad.
All right. Well, another thing we can do.
Can she use the chat?
We could.
I like chat.
Okay, here's another thing we can do is the whiteboard.
Ooh.
Okay, now let's see if I'm going to give you control. See if you can. if you can control that writer.
Okay. Yeah.
Here, good. All right, I'll give you a few words. Are you ready? The first word is the word.
This is wrong for me.
Okay, let's go up to the top of the paper.
What?
Okay, good. Towards the top.
Here?
All right, your first word is the word will. Say the word.
Will.
Now say the sounds as you write it with me. Ready? Whoop.
Wa.
Yeah.
Eh.
Oh, I wonder what it says.
Oh.
Okay. All right. When in doubt, you punt. Okay. Let's pause. Do you have a
Okay.
sheet of paper and a pen near you?
I have a pen near me. I have this one.
Paper.
I don't have a piece of paper yet, but my dad will get me one. I have this one.
So what I'm going to have you do is write on the paper and then show me the word. This is what I do with some of my kids who have iPad.
I have a question.
Sure.
Do I have to use a pen or like a pencil?
Anything that'll show when you show it to me.
I think a pen because pencil doesn't really show us much.
Okay. All right. Are you ready?
I'm not really used to using pen, but okay.
Okay. So it works for you.
Okay, I have a piece of paper.
So write the word pretty big so we can see it. All right. Your first word is will. Can you say that?
Will.
All right. Say the sounds. Whoop.
Wa.
Okay.
Oh.
Okay. Show me what you got.
I think
Look up the screen.
it's it.
Good for you. You doubled the L because that's a hungry vowel. Good for you. All right, next word. Here's a word every kid your age misspells, but you can spell it. Fudge. What's the word?
Fudge?
Yeah, fudge. Like chocolate
Okay,
fudge.
I'll try.
And then think, do you need a big piece or not? Fudge.
I think a big piece.
Do you remember how that is?
I think so. Okay, actually, one second. Wait, what is it?
Oh, that was perfect. Great. Next word. Batch, like a batch of fudge brownies. Batch.
Or a batch of cookies.
Oh, batch of cookies or batch of donuts. Even better.
For Santa.
But big piece or small?
I think big.
That's right. You're exactly right. Okay. Because it's a hungry vowel. Perfect.
Is it?
Okay. Boy, is your writing nice. Now, do you remember how or is spelled?
Yes.
How's it spelled? Good for you. We're going to spell the word torch. Now, big piece or small for you show it to me.
Big?
Does it have a friend or is it a vowel by itself?
I think friend?
It has the friend of R, right. If it was T-O, you'd use the bigger piece. But it has a friend of R, so you're going to share. You don't want to eat all your donuts in front of them. So go ahead and use the small piece.
Small piece?
Small piece.
Okay. Okay.
Good for you.
I actually wrote this, but that was a mistake, so I just wrote it.
All right. Last word is the word tack. Well, let's review our procedures. Say the word.
Tack.
And let's say the sounds as you write it. Ready? Go ahead as you write it. Good. Big piece or small? Is it a hungry vowel?
Big.
Yes, it's definitely a hungry vowel. That was perfect. You did great. Now, just for those who are watching, I'm more concerned about procedures the first week. So I'm not doing less words and I'm going to focus on procedures because I want within 3 to 5 days for her to automatically echo the word, say each sound, and then say the word again for both the syllable work and spelling. Okay, now we're going to go to reading and let's go to the book. All right. Enchanted Rock. All right. So what are you seeing in the picture?
A fox in the woods
In the woods. Okay.
and rocks.
And rocks. If it's called Enchanted Rock, do you think that's talking about one rock or like a huge rock cliff?
A huge rock cliff.
Yeah, it might be what it's about. So what does enchanted mean?
Like magical.
Magical. And that's exactly what the story's about. Okay. Now, since we're only going to get a part of the story read, we're not going to do all the words. These words come in order. We're going to do this top line, then this top line, and this top line, and the top line of phrases. And then tomorrow we would do the next half. All right, let's go ahead and sound out, or if you can just say the word, you can, and we're going to alternate. What's this word?
Van.
All right, Jen. What word is that?
Jen.
Your turn.
Liz.
Good. It.
Sit.
Your turn.
Matt.
Good. But.
Fall. Sorry, but.
Fall's
Fall.
right. If you know the word, just read it. I know this, so I'm going to say lap. Now, sound next one.
Sat.
And I know this, so I'm going to say dog. You only sound out if you don't know the word. All right, here, ant. What's the word?
Grant.
Good turn.
Last.
Good. Twin.
Swim.
Jack.
Slept.
Path.
Pond.
Past tense. Asked. Your turn.
Pulled.
Sitting. What would that word be?
Sitting.
Okay.
Melting.
Melting. Good.
Melting.
Pull up. Plot. Your turn.
Yelled.
Okay, what rule is this? What do we call this rule with the TCH?
Atch.
Right. And the rule is called hungry rule because you have the short vowel, it wants a bigger piece there. Now, why does this take the smaller piece and munch?
Maybe it doesn't. Oh, maybe because there's the ED at the end.
Okay, well, we'll forget the ED. Remember, it takes the smaller piece if you have a friend before it, because the friend wants part of the donut too. So the N there would take a smaller. See here, you just have a short vowel, so we use the bigger piece. Here we use smaller. Now this one has a hungry vowel, ah. Notice we're using the big piece here. Okay, smacked. Okay. All right, read these with me. At Enchanted Rock.
At Enchanted Rock.
Were restless.
Were restless.
Her sunglasses.
Her sunglasses.
Again, at Enchanted Rock.
At Enchanted Rock.
Were restless.
Were restless.
Her sunglasses.
Her sunglasses.
All right. I'm going to say the phrase. You read it when I go under it. Were restless.
Were at Enchanted Rock.
Were restless.
Her sunglasses.
Okay. No, what I'm saying is I'm going to say a phrase. When I swing under it, you read the phrase. Like, so for were restless, when I get here, you'll say were restless.
Okay.
Okay. All right. Her sunglasses.
Her sunglasses.
At Enchanted Rock.
Were restless at Enchanted Rock.
Okay. All right. Camping. All right. Follow my cursor and read. And if I circle it, that means I want you to reread that word. Okay. Are you ready? Go ahead.
We are here. We are at Enchanted Rock. Yeah, at Enchanted Rock, Miss
Okay.
said Mr. Grant. He stopped the van in lot 10. Jen and Liz chanted. Chanted at last. The twin sisters were restless. They liked to swim and run. They did not like to sit still on long trips. Get up, Jen called to Matt. Matt and Jack. Her big brothers. Matt and Jack were twins too. Brothers? Oh no.
Yeah. What's this word?
Both.
That, remember what OY says?
Boys. Both boys had slept on the long trip.
Okay, so pause. After two struggles, I take over and I'm going to do the echo drill. Now, how this works, kiddo, is I'm going to read a phrase and I'm going to have you read it after me. And I'm going to pick up your speed a bit, okay? Are you ready? Are we here? Your turn.
Are we here?
Asked Jack.
Asked Jack.
Yes, said Mr. Grant.
Yes, said Mr. Grant.
But we must get
a
camping spot. Your turn.
Mr. Grant pulled the van into a camping spot next to a small path. They had camped here last fall. The path led to a pond. A green hills rhymed.
Just do this part. That's closed in.
Rimmed.
Do you know what rim means?
No.
Rim means it like surrounded the pond. Rimmed
the pond and Enchanted Rock was just west of hills.
All right, echo drill.
West of the
hills. Mrs. Grant, go ahead.
Mrs. Grant
slid off her sunglasses. She grinned at her children. Jen and Liz were sitting in front of Matt and Jack. Your turn.
On Matt's lap sat
Okay, sound it out. Sat who?
Skip. Their big black dog.
Sound that out.
Their plump cat slept on Jack. Her front paws were tan, so they called her socks.
Socks, good. All right, a little different technique than Eckel. This is called the fill drill. And what it is I'm going to read and leave out a word and you put in the word, okay? Gosh, Mrs. Grant,
Said
it is a snug fit in this
van.
with all of us in the camping.
Bags.
I am glad we are here at.
Last.
Okay. Now, what we're going to do now, we're going to finish up with beat the clock. Okay. Now, here's how this goes. I'm going to time you. And then we're going to try and beat your time. We're going to actually try to cut your time by over half. Okay. What this does is it helps pick up your speed. Does that make sense? Okay. So we're going to start by reading from here to wonderful. Okay. And I'm going to time you. Are you ready? Emiko, are you ready? Hello? Are you worn out?
I need just a second.
By the way, you're doing an incredible job. Your reading actually is much better today. You tell me when you're ready.
Okay. Just want to drink water? This is the last part.
You know, if you're a little too tired for this, we can take a break. How you feeling, Emiko?
No, just a bit emotional, that's all.
What now?
Just a bit stressed because it's just a bit stressed.
Okay. You know what? We're going to take a break right now. Okay. You've done such a magnificent job. So you know what I'm going to do, Emiko?
What?
Do you have a watch? You have a timer?
My dad does.
All right. Have your dad time me and I'll do beat the clock. Okay.
Okay.
All right. So your dad will tell me when to go and I'm going to show how to do beat the clock. So dad, whenever you're ready, tell me when to go.
Okay.
Go.
Go. Gosh, Mrs. Grant said, it is a snug fit in this van with all of us and the camping bags. I am glad we are here at last. Mr. Grant shut off the van and stepped out. Stop. Okay. How fast did I go? How many?
29.
All right, I got to be 29. You tell me when to go, Emiko, and then time me again. Are we ready?
Go.
Gosh, Mrs. Grant said, it is a snug fit in this van with all of us and the camping bags. I am glad we are here at last. Mr. Grant shut off the van and stepped out. How far? Did I read the whole thing?
You got 24.
24? Okay.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So I got to beat 24. Are we ready?
Mm-hmm.
I think I went to stepped out, so that's how far I go. All right, ready? Time me again. So that's two of them. All right. Tell me.
Go.
Gosh, Mrs. Grant said, it is a snug fit in this van with all of us and the camping bags. I am glad we are here at last. Mr. Grant shut off the van and stepped out.
18.
18. Okay. Now, what I do is encourage you. I'd encourage me to beat it. And I'd say, Steve, I want you to beat 15 this time. All right. So, Emiko, tell me when.
Go.
Gosh, Mrs. Grant said, it is a snug fit in this van with all of us and the camping bags. I am glad we are here at last. Mr. Grant shut off the van and stepped out. How did I do?
Oh, 16.
Wow. Now, if I was there, I'd say, all right, Steve, I want you to beat 15. Okay. So I'm always encouraging the student. All right. So let's see if I can beat 15. Tell me when.
Go.
Gosh, Mrs. Grant said, it is a snug fit in this van with all of us in the camping bags. I am glad we are here at last. Mr. Grant shut off the van and stepped out.
14.
Wow. Good job, Steve. All right. Now, where we finish the lesson, Emiko, is where we write, and I'm going to do the writing, okay?
Okay.
Okay. All right. Hold on there. Let me see if I can write here. Okay, cool. All right. Stop. All right, Emiko, give me a few words that were in the story. What's a few words that were in there?
Last.
Last? Okay. What's another word?
Bags.
Bag. Good. All right, I'm gonna, let's see.
Van.
Van, that's good. Whoops, I misspelled bag. Let me put an A there. Van, okay. Good. And
Mm.
who is, do we know who's talking or what's going on there?
Um. The girl. Wait, what?
Okay, we'll put girl. Okay. Okay. Now this is just to help when you write sentences, these words. So we would start with a sentence has to have a who or what did something. Now again, normally I'd be writing this, typing this, or writing it in a word processor. Let me see if I can type. Okay. There we go. I'm going to type it. Let me undo this. Okay. Okay, good. Okay. So can you tell me a sentence that you remember from the book?
Oh. Ooh.
You know, we might, let's go back. They're camping and we're here at Enchanted Rock. The twin sisters were restless. Get up, Jen called to Matt and Jack, her big brothers. Are we here yet? They pulled the van into the camping. Miss Glad slid off her sunglasses. She grinned at her children. They're all very happy. They jumped out of the van. We were really melting in the van. Okay, that's generally what it's about. So can you give me a general sentence?
Miss Gann took off her sunglasses.
Oh, perfect. Okay. I don't know how to do sunglasses, so I'm going to put a period here. Now, every sentence, we must, first the sentence has got to have a who or what did something. And you got the who or what is Mrs. Grant, right?
Mhm.
And the did what, and she took off something. So you have a sentence there. You got a who or what did something. Now, did we capitalize the first word? Mrs. Yeah.
Miss.
The end in a period. Now, I forgot how to spell glass. Now, I'm not sure if it's a S or a double S. What do you think?
I think double S.
It is double S. That's right. Okay, so let me go ahead and. Mrs. Oops. Mrs. Grant took off her, I'm going to make this a little bigger, sunglasses. And how does each sentence end? With a what?
Period.
Period. That's right. So we normally would start by doing a couple sentences, and I would help you with it, okay? And then the session's over, okay? So everybody, I know you turn on your speakers so she can hear you. Let's give her a big hand. That was incredible.
Nice job.
You are very adorable.
Who's that?
You did a great job.
Great
job.
Awesome. You are so
Yeah.
smart.
Emiko, tell us now, where'd you disappear to? She gone?
She's there.
Oh, she's there.
Where are you at, Emiko?
Everyone needs to, everyone else go on mute, please.
I'm right here.
So, cool. So how did that lesson go for you?
Good.
Did you feel okay with the speed of it?
Yes.
It mixed up a lot of stuff. Did that confuse you or was that okay? Like I moved. Go ahead.
I think that was okay.
You were okay. Okay. Besides me scaring you, I'd have that effect on people. The lesson went okay?
Mhm.
Good. Well, you did wonderful. And what happens, you see, you can sound out words when them by themselves, but you have trouble when they're in sentences. So what we're going to do is read a lot, and that's going to get your sounding out automatic when you read. And that's going to really push up your reading. Now you're scoring at around beginning second grade in your reading. We're going to get you at fourth grade, above grade level in no time at all. Guaranteed. Fourth grade, guaranteed. Okay. And we're going to get your spelling up. Now we're going to be able to do that for a couple reasons. One, you're a hard worker. Two, you're intelligent. And three, you've done some work with phonics before. And that's going to really click for you. When we take what I'm doing with your phonics, it's going to really click. Do you remember what phonics you took, or would your parents remember?
Don't remember.
She went to a literacy center in
Okay.
San Francisco.
Okay. Literacy center, and they did some phonics with her, right?
Yes.
Yeah, I can see that. I wonder if they did some lips. Did you do mouth movements at all with sounds?
Additionally, when she was younger, around pre-K, she did speech therapy.
Oh, she did.
Yeah.
Sounds are really good. All right, there's only one that we got to work on. Now, do you remember what that one is, Emiko? No.
Okay.
Now you can't smile and do it. It's impossible. By the way, you know who told me that? A Catholic nun I was teaching in the class, and this Catholic nun came to me and said, "Steve, the reason people can't do it is you give them a hard time for it and they all smile. So you got to pucker your lips like this." Oh, and what I use for that is a lion. Watch me. That one. You do that with me. Yeah. Don't worry about that later. Okay. Now you're going to have this great young lady, Amanda, who's going to be working, and I'm setting up her pace. Steve, are we planning on a follow-up or not? You might want to talk to Emiko about that.
We'll chat with Emiko's parents.
Yeah. But we may do a follow-up in a week to see where we're at, or we may do another student. And that'll be totally up to Emiko because she's so great to work with. And yeah, you're doing just perfect. Do your parents have any questions or thoughts?
No, thank you all so much. And thank you, both of you, Steves.
Yeah, listen, what I said is true. We'll get her to 4th grade reading. No time at all.
That's great. We're really excited.
Well, less than 3 months, maybe about 3 months. We'll get her up a couple years. We'll get her fluency. She was reading 22 words a minute. And what I want to do is get her up to 4th from low 2nd and get her up to around 80 words a minute. Okay, that's our goal. At least 80 words a minute. So we'll make her faster in a higher grade level.
Sounds good, right? All right.
Cool.
Emiko, you did awesome. Thank you so much for being with us today. And I know Amanda's on the video with us, so you could probably see her if you look around. You'll find her, and she's gonna see you tomorrow.
Yeah. So Amanda, I switched back to Enchanted Rock from Pep Baker. The reason is girls like that series better, and then we'll go from that to Princess Pat. And then we're going to go back to Tales of Adventure, and I laid out the books. Yeah, so just follow that sequence. But the difference is the first book, we're doing the Enchanted Rock. Okay, great.
Okay, sounds good.
All right, so we're open for any questions.
And just really quick, people are asking who is Amanda. Amanda is one of LearnUp Center's tutors.
Yeah, she just was trained, just was certified, and this is going to be her first student.
Second student. You work at the Boys and Girls Club as well, right, Amanda?
Yeah.
Yeah, awesome.
Yes.
Okay, so Emiko, you're welcome to hang out, or you can log off if you want. And we're going to move to questions and answer questions about the program and the lesson and how it worked. So if you're curious, you're welcome to stick around. But if
not only that, if you want to sit and answer questions, you can do that too, Emiko. It's totally up to you.
People might have questions for you directly if you want to stick around for a second. You're good. You make your choice.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Bye.
Thank you.
Bye.
Okay.
So you're welcome to unmute and move to question and answers, what we call office hours.
Hey, Steve, this is Christian.
Christian.
I just wanted to say that I could see this building in her before she cried for about, I thought I could, for about 15 or 20 minutes.
Yeah, I couldn't.
And there was a lot of pressure. I just felt it through the screen somehow.
Yeah.
Do you oftentimes see that and make a, or do you just push through? What's your normal?
I would have stopped as soon as see live. This is like the first time I've done a student first session on internet. But I normally, when I do workshops, have kids come live and I see it a mile away.
I see.
But since I'm paying attention to the board, I couldn't see her.
I see.
And so when she had the sniffles, beating the weather, I thought it was that. As soon as I found out what was going on, I shifted out. I would shift out immediately.
Okay.
Okay. Good question, Christian. Other questions?
I have a question about the echo reading.
Mm-hmm.
One of the children I'm working with is a little more advanced than this student. And I found that if I just did a couple of phrases like you were doing with her, he would just remember it in his brain and not be looking at the words. So I started doing longer passages, like I would do a paragraph.
Well, okay. That's a little long for the idea of the echo drill is they pick up your pace and time. I would think he memorizes a sentence.
Yeah, he'll just, if I just do a one sentence or two, he'll just remember it and not necessarily look at the words from what I can tell.
Where's he at in his reading? What start is he?
Oh, at this point, he might be a 4. I'm not sure. We just read Hobo.
Has he learned phrase reading yet?
He does pretty well. I mean, he's not always successful, but yeah.
So in that which case, I might do the fill drill, where I take over and read pretty quickly and leave out words and he fills it.
Mhm.
Primarily, is he a pretty good reader now?
Getting better, yes.
I've got kids who've been with me for a while, and my main focus with them is getting them to keep doing phrase reading and not omit words, which they do. That's my number one thing. So I'm basically, and I'm not taking over that much. When I do with my advanced kids, I use the filler drill, words that I want them to sound out, as I'm reading. But basically, I'm primarily interested in proper phrasing, and if they leave out a word, that I circle it and make them do it. This one kid, particularly today, has this problem of leaving out words. And so I just wouldn't let him go any further until he'd leave out to or of or a, and I don't let him do it because it changes the meaning. So my main focus is phrase reading and reading accurately. And then when I take over, I'll do the fill drill,
Okay.
often.
All right. I'll try that.
Yeah.
Thanks.
So the fluency, if you got a good reader, the fluency, where we work on it is phrase reading can double your speed like that. And then beat the clock will do it. But really, once you can read, the number one way to pick up fluency is reading a lot. Now, I've seen that with a child who was a start to. He had no word memory at all. He's read the 4 books by Paulson about hatching, the 4 different books. And we're reading a technical book on underground of sewage, electricity, and structure under a building. Very technical words. And we're using that for word attack. But what he's done, he's reading now nightly, independently, and his speed went up from 60 words a minute to 110 in a month. And that was because he now just started reading a lot at home. I have another kid who just hasn't made that progress, and I'm working on convincing him to do that because it's dramatic. And I'm convinced with kids that get to a certain level, we just got to talk them in, get a book you like, and keep reading 20 minutes a day. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome.
I have a question. I have 2 girls. We started in boot camp and we're in carnival right now. We just did the gas man. But they're both still sounding out the words.
Fine.
And they some of them, the more we read, they're getting better in remembering the words.
Good.
So do I have them sound the words out, or do I read this first?
No.
I guess.
No. They've got to sound the words out because you don't want to read for them. And if they're sounding out more than a couple words per sentence, I'll say reread that like you talk.
Okay.
So, it maybe is a little slower go, but then we end up beat the clock is where I work on speed because we may only do 2 sentences and they'll read word by word and sound it out. And I'll make sure they get the words correctly. And then so we're working on that fluency, but basically, and I want them to know, if you know the word, don't sound it out. Hopefully they know that. But if they're sounding out, that's what they need to do. That's fine. Just if they're sounding out a lot in a sentence, hard to follow, I'll say reread it like you talk.
Okay.
That's a stage. They're at a stage 1 functioning, and that's where stage 1s are at.
Okay, great.
Yeah.
And then I have another question. My 6th grader, he reads so fast that he forgets there's periods and pauses and commas, and it's a fight. I keep stopping him and going back and reading for him, but so for beat the clock, I'm afraid to do beat the clock with him because he's going to read even faster, so we can get faster. So
okay, so he reads faster. Is he accurate?
Yes.
All right. So what book's he in?
We're just finishing up the Aliens.
Oh, Aliens or Alien Attack?
The last one. Carnival? No.
Intelligent Youth has a flying saucer book. How old is he?
He is in 6th grade.
Okay, so if you're in Moonlight Tales,
Yes.
and he's an alien attack, and he's reading that fluently.
Yeah. Surprisingly, I did not expect it.
Okay, so move along. I mean, you can make sure he's phrase reading. Now, with that, what I do is I control the screen, and I simply do not allow him to go further. When we get to a point, I will stop, and if he doesn't stop, I just say, I didn't move my arrow, get back to where I'm at. But I point out what punctuation does. I say comma is tap, period's a double tap. And so I will read and model using punctuation. Then I'll have him reread it, modeling that. And I'll say punctuation is as important as words. So you kind of do lessons on that, because my guys, every kid does that kind of thing. And when you got to tell them those punctuation marks will change the whole meaning if you don't get them correctly.
Right.
Okay.
All right.
Hey, Steve. I have a question. So working with since the summer, and like he was totally a start one, did not know any of his letters, a lot of phonological awareness gaps. So I've been working with him. Half of my time I really just work on phonological awareness, getting him to even be able to pull apart syllables. We're not even at being able to pull apart letters yet, or sounds yet, but I'm also getting him into reading, and we've been doing the boot camp books, and I've been doing like the step tracking with him, so he can read like 3-letter, I haven't done blends yet. Like we're still really, really at the beginning of like he knows the letters, but putting them together. So he's been doing a good job of reading them, and I've been doing the step tracking with him. But like the second I ask him, say, like if I give him the word sat, and I say, all right, let's change it to sit, he loses it. And then sometimes, and like it takes him like 5 minutes to tell me change the A to I.
What grade is he in?
He's in 3rd grade. He's in a special ed school, like the city is paying for him. And I'm in addition to him getting orton-gillingham.
Okay. But he's at a preschool, a kindergarten level.
Below, yeah.
Don't worry about the changing of sounds yet. Just do the segmenting. Make sure he can segment 3- and 4-letter words. Just a minute before you read. We'll get to the changing once he gets up around 2nd grade reading.
Okay, because it's interesting because he can read the boot camp books. I think a lot of it's memorization because he's been doing the same kind of stuff for so long, but he can look at words and read them, and he's got that like not fluency, I wouldn't call it that. Like he can, when we do beat the clock, when I do those things, like he can read a whole page in 30 seconds and then go down to 26 seconds and he can do that. But when I actually have him try and segment and separate the sound, I'm back where I'm with him.
Okay. Well, this is kind of normal. So now, what's he read? The Mad Cat, Bad Ram?
We just finished the Dad story, and we started the next one.
You could read that okay?
He did. He misses some words. We just did, what's the 5th one? We just started it today. I can't think of the name, but the word hugged was in there, which was like, with a suffix. It was one of the first words, and he stumbled on that. But when he can read, the 1-syllable words, even some of the words that had magic E, he was okay with.
All right. So, I guess my question is, does he belong in there, or does he belong in the first book of Carnival, the hot tub, which deals with all? Go ahead.
So we started from you're saying to go, I started from the very first boot camp book.
Well, you don't have to always start there at the beginning. Like you can start at hot tub, which is all the vowels, and that's still, unless he doesn't know the vowels, then you can do vowel at a time. But if he knows the vowels and is working words, I hop him right into Carnival and push him through that series. Now, your first question, should I focus more on phonemic awareness? Absolutely not. Phonemic awareness does not teach you to read. You can do that till the cows come home and you'll never learn to read. It helps you with the auditory system that works in concert with your reading. So doing that for a minute ahead of time, doing the tapping of the fingers or here for segmenting, making sure segmenting is down, will help his auditory. But the segmenting we do in our reading step tracking, that's what's going to get them as a reader. Okay.
Okay.
So you want to make sure you just do the schedule, do the sounds, do the syllables, do the spell and read. It's the schedule, if you do it, that will get a kid reading. And then you
Okay.
want to go as fast as you can. If those books are too easy, move to Carnival. If he's challenged by them, continue through them. Okay.
Yeah.
It's just
Thank
like
you.
the girl today, Emiko. I was going to start her at the VCC book, Magic. But when I got her in the book, she couldn't apply the phonics she knew. Again, that's a common problem. Kids taught phonics, but don't read. So we had to go back and do that. Okay. And go to an earlier book. So yeah, just keep trugging like you are. But I just do the segmenting right now. And then once you're through Carnival, then I might consider doing the changing, fit, change to and sit, that kind of thing. But right now, he's at the segmenting.
Yeah.
Right.
It's I was just gonna say that it's, if I make the change, he can read the words. It's when I ask him to make the change. If I say, if I put sit and then I change it to sat, or even if I change it to sap, and I'm making the change, like using your board, he can do those changes. It's when I auditorily ask him to make that change that he can. I'm not saying he can't ever do it. It's just, it'll take him like 3 minutes of thinking and then me getting him to redirect and that kind of thing before he'll tell me what to do.
So you're at the syllable level of my schedule, right? So you gave the word fat and then you said make it cat. Okay. Then what I do is I take the board. Are you on the internet, Zoom?
Yeah, we're on Zoom.
I take it and I have them go with me. Are you ready? So I don't wait 3 minutes. It's a waste of time. I have them do it and then we make the change. And I'll say the next word is cut. Are you ready? And he does it with me like I did with Emiko. And then I will do it, but he does the sounds. So I'll say, okay, cut, make it cuff. And then I'll point and he goes, So he follows my finger. He's got to do the segmenting ultimately. But
right.
I have him follow my finger and that will work. Initially, we'll do it together. But yeah, you doing it won't help him.
Yeah, there's a lot with this kid. Like, I've been working with him for a while and there's a lot of attention issues. So when I say like it takes him 3 minutes, it's like, oh, where are you? I need you here. Do I see your eyes? Like, there's all of that also.
I've got 2 of those. That's why you don't wait for them. You simply go to the next word and you say, all right, Pat, we're going to make it pit with me. Ready? Let me hear you. Good. Good. We're changing to what? At Pat. Okay, Pat to Pat. And I don't fool around. I get right into it. Because that kid I had a kid look at me for about 40 seconds when I said, your turn in reading. He just spaces. Okay. So yeah, you just got to keep those kids on task and don't wait for them. You pull them to your pace.
Can I add something? Do you mind?
Sure.
So in my experience teaching first grade for like 15 years, I found that the kids, if you just start with the first, changing only the first letter of words until they are so solid with that, and then changing the last letter, and then go to changing the middle letter, that seems to work pretty well. So I don't know if that could help.
It does. I'll be honest, I've worked with all ages and I can get them to change everywhere.
Yeah, but in this case, since she's having trouble, I thought it might be helpful.
Yeah, I agree with that. First letter, then last. I totally agree with that. Okay. Other questions?
Can I ask you a question?
Sure.
When I was teaching this kid, I'm finished, it was 20 lessons. Most of the time we didn't finish the book. We went on to other books as we progressed because there wasn't time to finish the book each time. Is that okay? That I didn't finish the whole book? I'm sorry?
What books are you talking about?
I don't remember. I'm just saying, not the small books, but when we got into the books that were a little.
Okay.
I didn't have time to finish the book, but we went on to the next concept. So I wanted to go on to the next, and I just went on to the next book, even though we didn't complete the book.
Well, keep in mind, the books set your pace.
Yeah.
They're more important than following. The books, once you're in the books, they set your pace. So you want to go through, like if let's say you're at the R family and you're at Time Tunnel, going through that, and then halfway through the book, you prepare for the next book, which is diphthongs. The spelling concepts have nothing to do with your reading. So your reading can go ahead of your spelling. That's why we have the reading checklist. Do you know what I mean by that? The reading checklist? Okay. So,
So you should always finish the book, obviously.
well,
which I-
not always. Here's the deal. If a kid is doing fast in the books and I want to move to another book and there's 6 chapters, I'll summarize a chapter, then I'll do chapter 3, and then I'll summarize 4 and they'll do 5 and we'll move on. That's if a kid's moving quick. So I'll finish the book, but I'm summarizing chapters. I have a child who's struggling in the book, so we did everything. And halfway through, I prepared him for the next book. And we got to read all through the books because he's in processing. But when I have a kid really moving quickly and I have a short amount of time, I'll summarize a chapter. We'll do a chapter, and then I might summarize another one and we'll do a chapter. But keep in mind,
I always feel like I'm behind in the books because I go to the next lesson and I don't know.
Next lesson, don't go to the next lesson then. Let me go to, what book are you in with them?
No, I'm finished with the 20 lessons, so I'm not in the middle of it. I'm kind of summarizing what happened.
You're not knocking lessons in a row. You've got the reading the books who set your pace. So if you're struggling in the book, heck with the spelling concepts. You're basically following the reading checklist. So he may be at our family and still not know the hungry rule. Who cares? You want to follow the books. Now, once you get well into the books and you're going to stick for a while, I then pick up the spelling. Okay. Let me just quickly show that.
It's funny because I did it my way. I shouldn't have, I mean, I want to know your way more, but he did move ahead a lot. I just don't,
Well,
I wasn't.
but the thing is what are they?
Comprehension is bad though, then. You're right.
All right. So you have the back side of the board of the book, which shows the straight checklist that we're going to be doing initially with Emiko, the straight checklist. But if you have a kid whose reading is ahead of spelling, we follow this checklist. So a child may be in the Voltag book, which I thought I'd be with Emiko, which would be magic, yet still not have learned the hungry rule or any of that. Okay. But it turns out she's straight checklist. So I did the consonants and teams and the hungry rule, okay, which is the checklist in the back of the notebook. But with kids who are moving ahead in reading, they may be here in our family and struggling.
Do you want us to see something, Steve?
Pardon me? Oh,
do you want us to see something, or you're just talking?
So here's the advanced checklist.
Okay.
So now the checklist in the back of the book, lessons book, has all these concepts in a row. And so with Emiko, we will be going to that. And they're not like a checklist. In other words, you might knock off concept 1 and 2 and be stuck on 3. Well, you'll stay there for a bit and then move away. It's not like you knock out a concept a day. That doesn't work. You're basically making sure she can apply the concepts. Now, once reading goes ahead, this dominates your schedule. Now, I have a program in Michigan called Beyond Basics, where I only teach how to do this part of the plan, the reading. And we do the bold here in spelling. That's as far as we get in spelling. But we do the reading checklist. It's been so effective with high school kids in Michigan that 2 days ago, they just adopted it for 500 high school kids in Detroit. And we're hitting the reading checklist, see? They don't have time to do a lot of the spelling. If we have time, we'll pick up spelling, but we're going right through the books and the reading, okay? Now that's radical. Normally I'll be ahead in the reading and then pick up a few of the spelling concepts.
It was the opposite with this kid. That's the thing. He was more ahead with the spelling than he was with the reading.
Well, that's even better because where he's at in the spelling, I give him credit for, but meanwhile, I can really move with the reading then because he's ahead of spelling. So I really cook through the reading.
But it wasn't translating into the reading is what I'm saying.
Translating what?
Translating. In other words, he was doing really well with the concepts, but half as well with the reading. So I'd be behind in the reading is what I'm saying that's what I mean.
Concepts don't teach him how to read. What teaches him to read is the concept. Like today, I taught a concept, but it's the syllable work and the spelling with that and the reading with the book that covers it that makes it work. It's not teaching it doesn't do anything. Like I can teach our family till the cows come home, and they still may not be able to read, which is what happened with Emiko. They taught her diphthongs, they taught her walkers, they taught her this, but yet she's reading at a 1.5 grade level. The reason is they're not having to apply it in books. It's the books hanging in the books that produce the change in reading. Right. And it's the great mistake made by other programs. They don't read enough in the books.
We were reading a lot. I was having a hard time, you know what I mean, matching what we were doing with the spelling. So I have to concentrate on that next.
Don't worry about it. You don't have to match the spelling.
Okay.
Now, when I have a kindergarten first grader who's straight down the schedule, they do match for kindergarten first grade. But I get most of my kids, a large portion of them, their reading is already ahead of their spelling. And so I'm going to give them credit and really move. Like Emiko, right now we're logged, but when she kicks off, her reading's going to move way ahead of spelling when it kicks in for her. So we'll go straight through the concepts initially, and then when her reading takes off, we're well into the reading. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Somebody else.
I have a question about grading or scoring the ACE reader.
Sure.
You mentioned that they would like score a 3 or a 4 or a 5, and I didn't know like
right
how
there.
you. What?
Let's pause right there. I've found with people doing it, many people, that's too confusing. So I'm simplifying the scoring. On the way, I should have it finished tomorrow or Friday, where both the 3-minute test and this test, the ACE, are scored alike. And it's very simple. You simply are going to say, we're going to read this text and you're going to have to answer questions or give me a lot of information. I'll have that written out. And then while they read, when they make a mistake, you will then say the word. And if they don't know it, give them a quick definition. And you'll keep a record of how many that is. So on the ACE, they may be at 6th grade reading 55 words a minute with 5 words you gave them. So that can be reproduced because maybe later on, she's at 6th grade reading 90 words a minute and you only have to give her 2 words, okay? So that can be reproduced. So I'm getting those directions to simplify it because a lot of people have been having trouble with it. So in actuality, you just tell them you're going to be reading this passage and you're going to need to remember as much as possible. You'll be tested on it, okay? And go ahead and do the best you can. So while they're reading, when they miss a word, I'll say it if they sound it out and miss it. And if it's clearly a word they don't know, like if they're reading about the republic and they don't know what a republic is, I'll say, okay, republic, that's where you vote for a leader. I'll give a quick definition as they go, because there's no way they'll understand the story if they don't know certain vocab words. And that was the problem with ACE. By the way, ACE is much harder than a lot of reading tests because of it's more technical. So I'll get those directions to Steve and we'll get them out to everybody, hopefully by Friday. Okay.
Okay, so what do we do? So don't enter the data yet. Oh, no. Sorry, I'm on mute. Okay.
Yeah, you can wait.
Okay, thank you.
Sure. Someone else.
Steve, I have a question. Do you, I know it's a small percentage, it's only 3% of kids maybe that, you know, really can't learn to read. Do you ever feel that way, or do you ever wonder?
I've run into one in 50 years, one kid.
Really? Okay. And
he's a kid that in over 300 presentations of the word the would still call it then or that. 350, okay? He's a guy who we worked on sounding out 1-syllable words. It took all year. And then in the summer, they did a little work. He came back and couldn't do a thing. Very unusual case. He's the severest child I've ever seen. So what I did is I got him on Ben Foss's empowerment plan. And we went to where he's getting books on audio. He's doing dictation software. He's learning how to, on an article, how to basically use reading of the articles so he can read books or articles. And we're going more that phase. Now, there was a second problem with him. He was the severest kid, but he wasn't willing to do the homework. He'd work hard for me, but he had to do work at home, and he refused to do it. So I came to a point and said, you either got to agree with that or we're going to move to a different approach. And he wanted to go a different approach. So where I'm at with the parents is we're going to go Ben Foss's approach, the audio approach. And then at some point he really wants to read, he should go to the clinic and do an intensive, okay? And that may happen, but he just, with a kid that severe, we got to have him 100% on board. But that's the only one. Yeah.
Okay, thanks. So you give me hope.
Yeah. Now, I'm not including kids with severe cognitive problems. That's a different game. I'm talking about normal kids. When you have a kid that's 50 IQ, they can learn the phonics, but they won't be able to understand what they read at a grade level. So, but they can learn the phonics.
Right. So there will be children who just have a lower IQ.
Right. They'll be able to do the carnival pretty well because they can learn the phonics. And the carnival is simplistic enough. They may be able to do the core, which is their question, the look and search are on your own, where you'll say, who is that? And they can point and go, Bill. Okay. And was Bill happy? Well, no, Bill initially was happy and then he's sad. So point. And then what do you think Bill's going to do next? He may be able to do that. But once we get into higher than that, the comprehension is going to be difficult for him. Yeah.
And the only way to figure that out is if the kids are tested?
No, it's easy. I mean, basically, if you want to know what the kid's comprehension level is, you can do, I'd get the 3-minute read, the 3-minute test and read it to the child and then see what they remember. Because your ability to understand what you read orally predicts your comprehension in junior high. Okay, so you don't even have to take that. You could take a book and read a paragraph to him and see what he understands. Ask him to tell me what you remember and just ask some questions. But that is what predicts. So if he doesn't have a clue at a 3rd grade book of when you read it to him, what's going on, who's going on, whatever, that tells you will have a lot of difficulty in understanding a 3rd grade book eventually. So that's one of your best predictors of comprehension.
So let's say you have a 1st grader who wasn't reading last year and then they went all virtual, but now they know the sounds, most of the sounds, not all of them in 1st grade. Sometimes I just started working with him this week, and even just to know the letters, I heard him, let's say the letter was, H or W, and I heard him say to himself, oh, what's that again? And then he reminded himself, he didn't know what a hen, he didn't know what a hen was. He had no idea. English is his first language, but there's definitely another language spoken at home.
Okay. All right, what you got going on there is pretty much an ESL profile, which means when you do the words in the book, you have to do the 4-step method. So step 2 is where you say the word and he finds it. Well, what I did today is I underlined it. Emiko didn't quite get it, but I will move my finger and I'll say the word hen. And when he sees it, he says hen, and then I'll stop. And then I'll say the word pig. And when he sees it, pig. But here's the big one. My 3rd time I give a definition. This is a heavy animal that's used for bacon, pig. This is an animal that people ride, horse. And then I will point. It's the 4-step method, and that's laid out at concept 1 and 2, 4-step method. But I'll do that with words. So going into the story, he's seen the words 4 times. That's what you have to do with the ESL or kids who have real low level. It's just slow go.
Okay.
It's slow go.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah. Okay.
but even if it's slow go, I just work, I'm only his tutor. And so at school, they say he's behind this, behind, there's not much extra help at school. They're not really testing him yet. I mean, can a tutor do everything?
No, it's impossible. I couldn't. I worked with a couple kids who were severe attention issues. Well, one just had avoidance, would constantly avoid, and the other one has the severest attention issues I've ever seen. I mean, he'd be in the middle of a sentence and forget he's reading, or we'd be reading words in a row and he'd forget, he wouldn't do that. Like today, we were reading and I circled his word for him to go, and I said, okay, after the, and I kept circling and I waited. Today I just waited 20 seconds. And then finally he said, what? After, I'm circling the words, the next words he's supposed to read. So that issue, he's a kid I'm writing a report on. We made some growth, but I'm saying the only way he should be tutored is live, not on Zoom. It just didn't work. There are certain kids that are so severe, the Zoom's not working. So I'm going to write a report suggesting that when we do follow-up, that they work at school one-on-one. But no, you can't do everything. You only do what you can do.
Okay, thank you. Thanks.
I'm in that same spot, where I'm at.
And he's excited. He's excited on Sunday. I work with him Sunday, Monday, Tuesday. What's today? Is it Wednesday? Wednesday. And I even see this nice progression from Sunday to today. And he's excited. He's excited about learning. He's excited about.
Well, you more than met your goal. See, kids are going to be limited by their neurological processing and the gifts they have intellectually. They're going to be limited. Well, we just want him to be able to use what he can. And the fact that he's excited and happy, you've met your goal. Just keep doing what you're doing.
Okay. All right. Thank you. Thanks. Because I wasn't sure. Thank you. Thank you. You're so brilliant. Whoever I tell him, like, he's brilliant. That's you, Steve. Brilliant.
Oh, right. Thank you.
I have a question, Steve.
Sure.
Thank you for having this workshop and lesson.
Sure.
I'm a para in the San Francisco School District, and I work with 4th and 5th graders. So I was thinking, most of the time I'm reading the instructions or have them read instructions to their assignments because I don't have time to do their assignments and your intervention.
Exactly.
So when they're reading instructions for their assignments and they're dictating and I'm typing, do you stop them at every word they're not pronouncing correctly? I'm curious.
Okay.
Like every the or then or than.
All right. They're reading their assignments now, right?
Right.
They're not doing the program. Okay.
Well, I guess I'm doing grammar at the same time as when they're dictating.
And how long do you get?
It depends. Usually 30 minutes on average.
The problem is when you have to be a jack of all trades, you end up accomplishing nothing, I make it clear this is what I do, and that's it. I tutor kids in reading. Now, if you can't do that and you got to do this, I would go right into Ben Foss's approach, which is, does he have a Mac computer? A lot of them will have stuff. What are his assignments? Are they paper or computer?
They're all online.
Okay.
I mean, they could write and then they have to take a picture of their writing.
Well, number one, I would have them, like on a Mac, you can hit the speech software and it'll speak the story. That's what I'd have them do. I'd have them read some sentences I know he can read to practice, where we read correctly. So I would correct it, read correctly, so that we're getting some reading. Then I'd go to the speech software and let it read to him, or I'd read to him. And then for writing, I definitely would teach him how to use the dictation software. That changes kids overnight. And they just need to be taught how to use it, how to speak normally, how to speak in the microphone, after a sentence, how to check your reading, play it back. And it makes all the difference in the world for kids, because they can dictate a summary of what they're reading, and it'll come out, and then they can play it back, and we make corrections. But I teach them, see, a lot of them think it won't work because they talk too fast and it doesn't pick up the words, or they go too slow and it slurs the words. They got to learn how to speak into the speaker, and then how to check every sentence or two, not when they're done, because that won't work. But that is an invaluable tool, is teaching them how to use that for class. So
Is that an app on Google?
Is what an app? Some computers just have it, like the Mac has it built in. You can just do it. What you
Most
want.
computers can do that.
Pardon me?
Most computers can read whatever text you have up on the screen.
Yeah. You need somebody who knows computers, like if you have a computer geek at your school, to just kind of show you how to do that. A kid I'm working with, who I did a demo with last week, he participates freely in all his classes, history class, etc. Because when they give an article, he goes to speech and hears it, and then he dictates using dictation software. And one of his teachers emailed me and said, this kid participates in everything like he has no issues at all. Meanwhile, I'm teaching him how to read, see? So that is what you want to be doing. Everyone should be doing with a kid that has to function, who can't read or write well, is speech software, speech to text, where they can hear the text, and dictation software. So check, what computer does he have? Do you know?
Well, most of the San Francisco kids, if they got a computer from the district, is a Chromebook.
Okay, I think Chrome can do that.
Right.
So you might just ask, do you have a computer guy at your school? Are you at a school?
We have a tech department.
I mean, are the
So I could ask.
approachable?
Yes.
But
I
if
think.
you have a friend who's a geek, just, I mean, all they have to do is show you where the button is on your computer. You know, there's a button on the Mac for speech, and then there's dictation, and they just need to know how to hit that, you know.
Got it.
So try that.
Most computers now have an accessibility platform that allows you to use kind of different ways of accessing material. So I'll look into Chromebook and see where it is. I know on the Mac it's under preferences, and you can go into the system preferences and change the accessibility, and then you get the microphone to show up everywhere. There also people are putting in chat various ways of doing it with Google Docs and with the Chromebooks, because I know that Google is very much, you can use Google Ask or Google Voice to do lots of different things. So I'm sure it reads back to you as well. There's also an app called Speechify, which you could look into, which be used on mobile devices that will read any PDF.
Oh, great. Thanks, Steve and Steve.
You're welcome. Okay. Okay, any other questions? Going once, going twice, going 3 times. Okay. We'll be seeing you next week. So thanks for coming. And we'll go from there.
Bye, everyone.
Thank you.
Steve, stay on for a moment, if you could.
Sure.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Steve and Steve.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
Thank you, Steve and Steve.
Steve
Thank you.
squared.
Bye.
Hi, thank you. Steve squared.
Calling him square.
Here you go.
On the square.
Definitely, definitely.
Bye.